What is up, guys? Welcome to a new video. So yesterday we checked out the big 80 carry changes coming in 6.17, but we have a load of others from the rest of the map as well, so we're going to dive into them today. Throughout this video, a like if you did, dislike it if you don't, but let me know which of these you actually think is going to make the biggest difference next patch. My bet is going to be on Riven, but let's see if you agree. I kind of just spoiled that one, I think, so we might as well jump onto Riven to start with. I probably should have phrased that a little bit different, but remember as well, okay, before we get into them, these are on the PBE. It could all change, but this is such a good idea of who they want to buff and in what ways they want to do it as well. So for Riven, they are aiming at her ultimate for now. The minimum damage is going to be increased by 20 rank 1, 30 rank 2, and rank 3 is going to be 40. So it's not just the minimum damage though, it's going to be the max as well, up 60 rank 1, 90 rank 2, and 120 rank 3. That, by the way, is going to mean that her ultimate now, a max, would do 300, 450, and 600 damage just with the slash part, like just the execute part, not even counting all the extra damage she does with auto attacks. Riven is one of the most popular champions top lane right now and has been for like a long time, and like it's kind of a middle of the pack win rate. Like, I don't know how to phrase this really, but she's hovering around like a 51%, which is good. That's kind of like balanced really. That's where it should be for a normal champion. Riven is also a champ like who massively gets better when you have more experience with her, right? Like, a lot goes into actually playing her. The correct times to trade, for example, like animation cancelling, auto weaving. There is so much room to display skill if you're actually good with her, like so much more stuff on top of the basics. Now for people who are already good with her, she's okay. I don't think she's overpowered anymore like previous seasons, but she's decent, and Riot are actually gonna buff her. I know it's not the biggest change ever, right, but it does give her some more damage, which I don't think she really needs. And Riven mains, maybe you're gonna flame me and say she's not too strong and she needs a buff, but like the better you get at her, the more you should carry, to be honest. There's still a lot you can do in the game, and I personally think like she was too strong in previous seasons. So while this does actually reward like better players as well, like more damage when you hold off on it and use it as a finisher, it's going to do more if you just panic use it at the start as well. So it might even make like not that good Riven players better. Anyway, so that is the one that I think is like the biggest change or will impact the game the most after 6.17, but there are a lot of different other ones. Brand is also another one who has got a lot of attention after people saw the new changes, and there's actually like two different types right now, like two different types of changes. The big change that like everyone was like, wait, what, was to his ultimate, increase in an AP ratio by 10% and increase in the base damage at all ranks. Right now that actually has been taken off, and they might be testing a new one with his E this time. The AP ratio is up 5%, but more added damage. Like, it's just on the tooltip, right? It says if the target is a blaze, so basically they have their passive on him from another spell, then it does a percentage extra damage. We don't actually know the numbers yet, but this could be pretty crazy, like either one of these changes. Brand is actually good and underrated in my opinion. Like, he's not that bad at all. No mobility for sure, and kind of weird combos I guess that take time to learn, but very high damage, and he has like 3 burns, like Deathfire Touch, his passive, and Leandry's. The E change is one I'm actually interested in, to be honest, though, because like right now you can use it two ways, right? To spread to other people or as an activator for the stun. Like, you apply the passive so your Q stuns. Most people are going to be using it to stun, I think, and this would basically reward better play, like more thought into it instead of just running up to do the famous easy combo like EQ stun, which guarantees your W damage. Now it would be like you W for poke, you use your Q and E like either way round, and you'll be doing more damage like with those 3 in total. I'm actually a little bit worried for this one, to be honest. Like, a lot of people, I know how annoying Brand can be to play against as a mid laner and also a support as well. What I find weird is like Brand is a combo made, just like how they reworked him, right? You get that passive thing going on multiple people and you'll carry really hard. These changes, especially the ult one, isn't really promoting that style. Like, I mean, I guess actually they're trying to change it to make you use your E in a team fight to spread your passive and be like another passive stack rather than use it to stun, so maybe. To me, regardless though, this is like another case of I don't think the champion really needs too much of a buff, and this could be going a little bit overboard. We might like kind of forcing Brand into the meta again. So those are probably two of the biggest buffs I think personally, but let's talk about a couple of nerfs though. The first one is to Gangplank. I don't think anyone's really surprised at this point, and just before anyone says it, no, it was not me talking about Gangplank in loads of my videos that got him nerfed, okay? Right, I can nerf him themselves. Win rate, he's like top of each role really, like people are getting to grips with him way more now, and he's more effective earlier with the armor pen build, and the combination just kind of makes him better overall. The changes are to increase his ultimate cooldown early rank, so 20 seconds up rank 1, 10 at rank 2, and it's going to be the same rank 3, and the damage per wave is going to be down to 15 rank 1, 10 rank 2, and 5 rank 3. It kind of makes sense, to be honest, to target his ult, because you target his early game, right? If he's supposed to be this like farm up and be effective champion later, like the hyper carry. One of the biggest issues right now is the junglers ganking bot with the GP ultimate. So GP ults behind behind them when the jungler arrives, and they have to run through it to escape, and that is so deadly. That is getting so popular. Like in every single game I have a Gangplank in on the enemy team, he's kind of doing that to my lane, or if he's on my team, he's doing it to the enemy bot lane. So I think that actually kind of means that he needs to be toned down a bit, because it is just so effective. To be honest though, I think it's justified, but it's not ruining him, okay? So it's still like a good pick. You just have to be a bit more careful with your ults. Now, you also can't like assist a gank in other lanes as quickly, which is going to help when you're playing against him. Now, Gragas is also up for a few nerfs. One is super weird, and a lot of people have kind of skipped over these thinking it's nothing, and I think actually it could be more. So first, your E cooldown now scales with rank instead of a flat 12. It's 16 seconds rank 1, so a fair increase actually. The other one is really odd though. So basically your cast, your ultimate now has a fixed travel time no matter where it's going to be used, a max range or like point blank. A max range ultimate is actually easier to dodge because he throws it through the air, right? So it gives you more time, and a short range one is harder because it insta hits you almost. Well, now it's going to take the exact same time no matter what, like over half a second as well. Even a point blank, it will still have the same travel time. I'm not 100% sure, but I have this feeling that it's going to be a lot easier to dodge the flashy ult combo that is so good right now, like especially at higher elo as well. This can make a big difference. Basically, the reason it's so effective is because you could ult before your belly slam crowd control had finished, so there was like literally no room to flash away at all. With this, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a small gap between the slam stun and the cast landing, which would mean you can flash away before being knocked into the enemy team. So yes, it is a kind of weird change, but in my opinion, it could actually have really big implications for higher level play especially, and Gragas might actually kind of fall off a bit. Those are actually the two biggest nerfs I think, but there are some more buffs to go into which are super interesting, and as someone who actually used to play Jace a fair amount, I'm really happy to see he's finally getting some love this season. He basically got sidelined in season 6, like he used to be one of the most popular champions and now like completely out of the meta, and there were 2 changes on the PB. Right now one has been reverted, but that is super common, so it might come back. Anyway, the first is in his hammer form is E, so the knockback, the mana cost is down to 40 at all ranks. It used to scale up to 90, so that's 50 off rank 5, which is pretty nice. The bigger one though is the time between switching forms is down to 4 seconds from 6. That could be really big, to be honest. Like it makes him so hard to deal with running around like a madman, and you can't punish him as hard. Like even if he's just swapped, right, he can actually swap back really soon again, so it's very hard to punish that kind of window. That one has been removed for now, but in my opinion it is really good, and I would definitely try playing him again with that buff. His poke is still very good. Late game he does a ton of damage too, and in my opinion, like he shouldn't be as bad as he actually is. We're gonna have to see, but I would love for this guy to come back. The E change in my opinion would not be enough, but the ult swap one I think would give him a chance. Now another one that is pretty random but could be cool is for Veigar. He's getting a 50 range increase on his Q. This is one of the weirdest ways to buff him. I don't know what Riot has been smoking recently. Some of these buffs are like super strange in the way they're actually approaching them. It's kind of like Riot saying, okay, he does enough damage, but let's help him stack it and stay safer while he does it. Personally, if that little bugger is going to one-shot me, I'd rather he had to get closer to do it so I can run away, but I guess that's not going to happen now. In my opinion, he's actually decent anyway. Like the stacking mechanic is not going to be good for an early focus stuff like tower first blood and dragons, but he can still do some decent work. There was a time when everybody actually thought he was going to be busted in season 6 after the kind of mini rework, but then the meta accelerated and it kind of left him behind a bit. This might actually be enough to get people to play him, get them interested, and realize he's actually still very strong. So I think for sure he's like better in a tank meta, though he's immobile, and so like he's easy to kill for a diver, right? It's not going to be much fun. If we see more tanks coming back, especially in rather than like aggressive carry picks everywhere, then maybe we will see him a lot more. Even like Jhin and Ashe getting very popular, you have to remember both of these punish a lack of mobility from a whole screen away. Like one arrow, you're going to have to blow your flash or die, and you can't do it for the next arrow. Like these getting nerfed is actually going to help him as well. Malphite is actually also getting a buff, like turning him basically into even more of the anti-AD carry or anti-AD comp that he already is. I know he's fallen out of favor a little bit, but seriously, like as an AD carry main, I really hate this change. Like, this is not going to be fun. His W now gives even more armor, so an extra 5% per rank, so at rank 5, an extra 35% armor on top of what he already has. Against full AD, this is going to be brutal, to be honest. Like the cooldown is also down a few seconds, but it's mainly going to be the extra armor, to be honest. The meta is still like carry laners, so I don't know if it's going to help him too much, but he's going to be good, and he will actually shut down and be very difficult to deal with in a team fight. Poppy is also getting a few random buffs like Malphite, so your base move speed is up to 345 from 340, so an extra 5, I guess. And your W passive armor and magic resist bonus is now 15% from 12%. It's kind of nice, I guess, but she's still this weird mix of damage and tank, but not amazing at either of them. I still just think there are better picks available at the moment. If you're good with her, you can actually win a game, you can have a lot of impact, but I don't see why you'd pick her over others. So this was a massive patch, and I had to like kind of skip over a few things, but I hope you guys enjoyed enjoyed this video though. Remember to let me know what you think of the changes and which one will be the biggest, but for now, let's go to the robots.